Hello, so today I am going to be bringing you guys my Maliss deck profile for the Doom of Dimensions format. I've been trying this deck out for a few locals, and I've taken some inspiration mainly from the Houston winning deck list, but I changed up some things I think are better. So we'll start off with obviously one Dormouse, limited to one. Got two White Rabbit. Gotta max out on the names, as well as 3 Chassis Cat and then 3 of the Marsh Hare. Obviously we'd have one less Dormouse, so we're replacing it with the Chassis Cat. And so yeah, pretty straightforward. And I gotta max out on the names, so I'll put these to the side. We then have the one of the techs that I copied from him. From the Houston list was the one Dotscaper. You can send it off of Red Ransom as just an extra body now that we're missing Splash Mage and stuff. So obviously back then had been cut as a break, but it does help with like extension and like having more bodies to like to link climb and stuff. And then we have obviously the 3 backup at Ignister, Extender and Starter. Like, you know, you get a normal summon hand trap, summon Almirage, special summon this. You have 2 bodies. Add Dormouse, discard it, and then go into Haggard. You have the one Wizard at Ignister, which also needed. Before the balance I had to cut it, but I put it back in, especially now since Splash Mage is gone, so we just needed to extend. I also usually like to save this for last if I can, to play through Nib. Sometimes you'll get nibbed, you'll go Link Spider, summon back another body, another Maliss body, and then just go into end on Cryptor. It should be enough disruption since you have like everything else in the graveyard. If they don't decide to wait to nib you until you bring out the highlighted code. So there's that. We will then go for the non-monster part of the main engine. We have obviously double underground, starter, extender. Obviously if you want this to be a starter, you need another monster card to normal summon. It can be like a cap, send this, summon Dormouse, and you can combo off from there. Or like you can also combo with like this, summon Dormouse, normal summon a Full Wear and Ash. And that'll get you to full combo. Obviously the one mirror, good for you can end on this with Red Ransom if you get full wood. You set this and then you get like negate, and then you can go and banish Red Ransom, summon, banish White Rabbit, and then get the 07, which gets you a banish plus any other non-engine you have in hand to survive the turn. And then you also have the Gold Sark and then the Terraforming. These are more like extenders now than starters. Obviously Terraforming gets you to the field spell. Gold Sark especially, 3rd copy of the field spell as well, or 4th copy. You can banish any of the Maliss card names, you know, and then get them to your hand, or summon them, or get like Marsher to your hand if you need an extender that way. And then the last 3 cards we have for the main engine are, let me just put these to the side, are the 3 traps. Obviously before the Banlist we were just playing these 2, but now you need TB11 to make White Rabbit a starter. Normal summon White Rabbit, set TB11, gets you full combo. Now for the non-engine of the deck. So one of the non-engines the Houston list was playing was Allure of Darkness. I don't think Allure of Darkness is too good. I don't like having to, let's say you only draw a normal summon cat with Allure of Darkness, and then like you don't draw any other darks to banish. I don't want to do that in the combo, so instead what we're doing, he was only playing I think Magnabot and Roseworm, but instead of Allure I prefer to play 3 Baldrake. But I think like I'd rather draw Chassis Cat plus Baldrake instead of Chassis Cat plus Allure. I think it's a much better combo. You can normal summon Cat, link it off for Linkaribo, Baldrake, now you have 3 bodies to go into Red Ransom, get the field spell. And if your opponent hasn't stopped you there yet, like you're probably off to the races and comboing off full combo. So then we have Double nib. I think nib is still good. A lot of the times, like, no, Dragotail, Yummy, K9. Sometimes K9 will get to Ripper, but you can beta Ripper with like Ash or like Imperm, then go nib. Like Imperm nib is still pretty good. But only 2 nib. I don't like running 3 because a lot of times when I run 3, I draw 2 going first or second. And like running 2, I see it a decent amount of time is running into nib. And plus it clashes with impulse. Always sucks when you draw nib and impulse together. Like you have 2 way to use the nib and then you can impulse. So I'd rather run the 2, which happens less. And obviously, like if you Fua, you'll have a better chance of drawing it too. So we use the 2 nib. We then have 3 Ash. Ash isn't the best, but like Dragotail, you can Ash Ketu or Rahu. It's like branded fusion is now like with branded Dragotail branded. You can Ash the branded fusion. You can also going first add the Ash to Fua. I was running 2 for a bit, but 3 because you can also Ash Fua going first and stuff like that, or like Izuna. That way they can't send Lupus. It has its uses at 3 still. Obviously we have the 3 Fuolos. Fuo is obviously one of the best cards in the game at the moment. You know, you get against Dragotail, you can get at least 1 or 2 draws at most if they want to like go into the Urgala. So against Yummy this is good. Even if you draw it going off the top deck, going second, you can still like use it against Yummy. You can still obviously there go Snatchy, Synchro for 2 Synchros you can draw on your turn going second, so it's still pretty good in that sense. Even like against Dragotail, they could go Seals, summon Malulu, use Shane Fua, or just drop Fua in the draw phase or something. And like they'll give you a draw of a Malulu, then you can like really go Malulu Fuse as a second draw on your turn. So pretty good in that instance. And for the last London, we have Triple Imperm, accompanied by Triple Impulse, the best hand trap in the deck, one of the best hand traps in the game at the moment, probably one of the best reasons to play Maliss. Now that like Lancia is falling off, not a lot of people are playing Lancia in the side decks. Like maybe there might be a few people still, but like most people aren't playing Lancia. They're trying to stop Mitsurugi at the moment, Yummy, so they're playing other non-engine in the side deck. So yeah, like if you draw this plus this, you can imprint something. You try to extend, let's say they like have not sure, like another monster they can summon that special summons or something, you can impulse destroy the monster. So it's pretty good in that sense. Now for the extra deck, we have obviously starting out with the mandatory cards: White Binder, Red Ransom, and Heart Scriptor. Obviously this helps you combo, this is for your grind game, and then obviously this helps you OTK, can also be your end board. There's not pretty much to explain here. Obviously when you have Red Ransom, you can send the Dotscaper we're running. It gets you a whole bunch of extra bodies. So we have the Wicked. This paired with Almirage can help you a 1-card combo with the field spell. Like let's say you have normal summon Fuolos, you go field spell send Dormouse, you can go then Dormouse banish Marsher, add Marsher, you link off the Almirage, and you link with the Molcharmi into Almirage, then you go Almirage Dormouse into Wicked, then you can go like Marsher banish Dormouse, summon the Wicked, and then like Wicked banish Almirage, add backup, and then you can combo off from there. Then you go like Wicked and Marsher into Red Ransom, add field spell, and so on and so forth. Like, and then from there we have the Hager Lizardos. We see normal summon Dormouse or Rabbit. This is 1-card combo. Some people had cut it before Splash Rush was banned. I never cut it. I think like this, going into this helps you play around Nib a lot better before the Splash Rush ban, but obviously Splash Rush is just banned now. But it's still good, and it's even good going second sometimes. Or like sometimes if you nib your opponent, you can leave the token in attack, go Lizardos, banish, A monster reduces the Nib token's attack. Now you can just attack over it instead of having to pop it or banish with access code or hard scripter. Then we're playing two Lingaribo. Some people are playing Link Bumper, I think. I forget what it's called. The light Link one. But like the Houston list was also playing double Lingaribo. Like every once in a while, his effect and negative trap does come up. Sometimes going second. Normal summon will link off into Lingaribo, and now your opponents like have to think about activating the traps because I can just send this and negate the traps, which it has come up for me here and there. So like double Lingaribo, I've always been a fan of it. Link Spider for playing through Nib. Like I said before, you can go Link Spider, Splash Mage, summon back a body. You have 3 to go into Cryptor if that's all you can end on. Which is still pretty good. The thing I copied from the Houston list was double SP. Sometimes SP can use to break boards, sometimes you need it to extend. There's some lines where like you'll have to go link 2 into SP banish the red ransom, summon back and banish like another body. So like double SP is pretty good. Dark, I think Dark with Mitsurugi running around is pretty good. So that means you could go like, let's say you're going second, you'd end on double Bistio, link into these two, take with a Mirakumo, blow up their board. Or you can crash if you have no Maliss bodies, go to the grave, add a Dormouse or something, and you can combo off. Firewall, obviously you can end on it either just on this, or like you can go allied with this and then some of the other two. You have triple bounce, negate and stuff, and like you can go, if your opponent's just saving the Nib until here, you end on this, like they try to nib you, just send to negate the Nib. Then obviously Totike, we have the access code talker. Pretty straightforward, Pop everything in your opponent's field, attack your game with Cryptor. Not much to explain. Okay, now for the last part is the side deck I'm running, and like this can change depending on your locals, or your local scene, the regional where you think people are gonna play most at, or like the YCS. But like I think some cards that are still good. Like I think Fenrir is pretty good in Mallet, like going first. I'd like to set this out for Fuwa. And then like some normal summon. Like there's been some games recently like where I've just had Fenrir plus like 4 non-engine, and like this helps just Fenrir on the field with like more non-engine, like 3-4 non-engine in the hand. Just helps up your opponent, and then like sometimes there's been some games where I get into a grind game with my opponent, and then I end up top decking a Maliss monster and I win the game. Like I think if Fenrir going first, it's pretty good. Solos games sometimes. Draw's needed for like all the heavy combo decks right now, especially Mitsurugi, which is like everywhere Mitsurugi yummy. Now you could just draw and then just deal with them yummy stuff. Still pretty good. Obviously again it's decent against like Dragotail and like Branded and stuff. Let's double Thrust. I think Thrust is really good in this deck. It's like you can just search for like Gold Saga Terraforming going second, or even first if you're opponent like is running K9. They summon a monster, like they nib you, they have them on the field, you thrust. For extending with Gold Saga and stuff, if they decide to nib you before that, before you use up like all your bodies and stuff. Then they have Dark Cool as a thrust target, and the main reason I'm running Dark Cool is mainly there's some people, there's Baby Ghoul Yummy, which is this deck you might run into like Branded and idle locking you, so you can use like Dark Hole or like anything, like let's say like for some reason somebody's running what's her name, the Nightmare, the one that level 1 that locks you from linking. Obviously you can link, but like in this deck, but just in case you run into something that you need to get off your board, or your opponent brings to your board, or like a Contact C, even though this deck doesn't care about Contact C, you can just link stuff off. Then Raigeki, it's reclaiming boards. Dark Hole is also a second copy of Raigeki in this deck. Yes, recently I was playing Branded Dragotail, but I thrusted for Raigeki, cleared a Fossil Dyna for my opponent's Mitsuru deck. It's a field. Harpies for back row deck, you know, on the best target. Talons. Talons is always a good card. Draw 2, take your opponent's monster, look at their hand. Pretty self-explanatory. And then for the trap targets for thrust is Blackout Labs. I've actually, this card has come up with, you know, playing this deck or playing Dragotail branded. It's come with Pies against Mitsu. I use Kamaru Kumo, obviously then they can't summon it, they can't blow my board. Then obviously on my turn again, I don't have to deal with it. Like them summoning it out back with prayers or with stun effect off tributing prayers, so on and so forth. But the main reason I'm running this is because of Yummy Snatchy. You know, you go against Yummy, they Fua or like Lance you in case they're running that. You just go Thrust, set it, call Snatchy. Now they can't summon Snatchy because I feel like the next card, Deep Barrier, doesn't do much against Yummy. Because you can just send on Snatchy plus a body or two, and then just Synchro Summon on your turn. So I think this is better against Yummy than Deep Barrier, but Deep Barriers are for Dragotail, you know, Mitsurugi, any Xyz deck like, you know, Raziel's still going around. And then, you know, last card is DD Ground. This also has excuses against Dragotail, against like other rogue decks you might run into, like, you know, like Blue Eyes people still play that deck, Amaryllis and stuff. And that's pretty much for the deck. That's like, I think, my preferred way of playing Maliss. I'll probably put a screenshot of the whole list at the end of the video. So yeah, if you'd like to just like and subscribe, and I'll probably be bringing more deck lists of decks that I'm playing for this format right now. Thank you.